Welcome to the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur. My name is Rita Perez. Hello. I've been a travel advisor for over 10 years and am navigating this winding road of entrepreneurship with you. I created this podcast because I wanted to share all the things I've learned from leaders both in and out of our industry that I really wish I would have known way back then. But alas, the important thing is I'm aware of them now, and I want you to be too. Ready for this week's show? Let's jump in. Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about my model calendar. And I wouldn't say that I have totally figured it out, but I think that this will help to be purposeful to you, to see how somebody else is setting up and working on it. And again, I've said this time and time again, like this business is what you make of it. So if what you're currently making of it is not working for you, then change the plan. Change the plan. You're not stuck in whatever plan that you've currently created. And as you heard on last week's episode, I have changed the plan quite a bit to where I was open to taking calls 10 to 5 p.m. Mondays through Thursdays. Now I only take calls Tuesdays and Wednesdays 2 to 5 p.m. And I'm a little nervous because I think that's very restrictive. But I'm also like, yes, it should be restrictive. Like, my time is valuable and you can only get a call with me or like land on that calendar if it is going to be of value to whatever I'm doing and the audience that I'm serving. So yes, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm also like, heck yeah. And I wish more people were very selective with that also. But you probably don't know what to do. So I have talked to a couple different people about this model calendar. And I've heard, different iterations of, Monday's a content day and Tuesdays and Thursdays I take calls. Or like Mondays and Wednesdays are content days, Tuesdays and Thursdays I take calls, and Fridays are catch-up days. And I kind of really liked that that flow. I think that flows very, very well. I chose not to do it like that, though. I think I would rather have like back-to-back calls and then no calls, and be able to focus on all the different projects that I want to be focusing on, which is helping my clients with their content, helping my travel clients, and helping also my regular admin clients. So I think that is going to help manage my two businesses as being as restrictive as possible, which gives me the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want with the rest of my time. Something that was very, very important to me, because what I felt that I was falling behind is that I was just constantly on the hamster wheel, and I wasn't able to look strategically into the future of my business. Everybody that I had heard, a lot of the big gurus I've heard talk about the CEO date. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to implement a CEO date in my business as well. So right now, I am going to be making Mondays as CEO dates. And so I'm not going to be working on any client work on Mondays. I think that's going to take a little time for me to adjust to. And once I get into the flow of things, I think it's going to be easier. But, and this is not saying that I will still be checking my emails. If certain payments need to be made, I'll go ahead and I'll start on that. But I also need to give myself dedicated time to start strategizing, but also implementing the things that I'm seeing. So again, on my current list is I have the Ask the VTA to go ahead and do that. I think I might take a weekend to do that. I want to do some podcast pitching again for that client attraction piece. I want to make some training videos for the person that is going to help me out while I'm on vacation coming up soon. So you can see there's a lot, I have a lot of follow-up that I need to do with people, which this is also going to be really helpful when I have get my Trello board underway, because I feel once I get started with Trello, and Trello may be who I stay with forever. Trello may not be who I stay with forever. I just need to get started on some sort of project management. I think once I start inputting like more of my brain dump into the system, I can start identifying, okay, what is really important right now and what can I save for later? And it also will help me to track, like if there's 5 things that I need to do for this client, that I need to import names into their email system. I need to go ahead and make the templates. I need to schedule the templates. I could go ahead and write the different things that need to be done in these Trello boards and then kind of move them into like to do, done, doing, or whatever. So I know where I'm at in the process, because I think that's the other thing. Like I just create lists in my head, but I need somewhere. Okay, so we're digressing again. So yeah, Mondays are going to be my CEO dates. And then so that I can start strategizing and also dreaming, but also implementing. There's a lot of things that go into these CEO dates, but I am the CEO and I need to navigate this accordingly. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I am going to be doing my meetings. And something that I have done to create another boundary, which I did not mention last week, was any type of chat that I was having with somebody would be a 30-minute call. And now I've gone ahead and I've dropped it down to 20-minute calls, which is so funny because I was signing up for people's like 15-minute calls, and I'm like, 15 minutes is not going to be enough. But also what I'm finding myself is that I really like to connect with people. And so I would be going over on my calls multiple times. So many times that I have considered buying a timer just to have it on so that I can go ahead and be like, okay, we got to like wrap this up. So I think limiting that time is going to be able for me to get to the point of things much sooner. The Strategic Travel Entrepreneur is brought to you by Mailbox Power. Harness the power to attract and nurture your clients through something many entrepreneurs have forgotten about, the mailbox. Create beautiful custom campaigns and automate annual mailings for birthdays and holidays. And with a pro account, get access to mailboxes not currently on your mailing list that are just waiting for the travel service you offer. Visit my Mailbox Power affiliate link in the show notes to get started today and support this podcast. Then doing like this easing in. I do need to buy that timer though, just so that I can keep track of the time that's going on. And I need to I think I need to put that boundary up when the meeting starts and say like, hi, very nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about your business. We only have 20 minutes and I want to make this an effective 20 minutes or something like that. Setting it out so that the other person knows that I will only be on this call for this amount of time. I think that's one of the biggest boundaries that I need to make for myself, because I go over quite frequently, which is putting me in the weeds of other things. So, all right, we're talking model calendar, but I think this helps. The other thing that I put into my Calendly, so I've adjusted from 30 minutes down to 20 minutes. I only take 2 of each call type a day, which so far I haven't like run into any issues. We'll have to see in the future. But like the main calls that I'm getting is a lot, or that I'm scheduling is a lot of like discovery calls, then strategy calls for my clients who do end up signing with me, and coffee chats, which is I just get to know you and your business, which I think I'm going to be limiting those coffee chats at least for now. And then, podcast interviews, which I had for 30 minutes. And I was like, man, I need to do it. Like, I need to extend out because there's really great information, but my interviews have been going past that recently. And I wrote myself in and I was like, no, you do not have all the time in the world. You have to make it work. Again, boundaries. There's a common theme, like boundaries and your model calendar work very well together. Thursdays and Fridays, I wanted to be my catch-up day. If anything falls to the wayside, that I wanted for my Fridays. And then Thursdays, I wanted to like have a dedicated client work day. And then of course the mornings of Tuesdays and Wednesdays will also be more client work days. So on the daily, another thing that I was finding is that as soon as I would get an email coming in, I wanted to work on whatever thing was going on with that email. I have told myself to tone that down. So I think what I am going to be doing, and kind of what's been working for me this past week too, is only checking my email 3 times a day. When I first get started on work in the morning, around lunchtime, and then before I, quote unquote, leave for the night. So, and I don't even know if maybe that leave for the night needs to happen necessarily, but I think the morning and the noonish one definitely need to happen. And I think this is going to be eliminating distractions for me as well. Like I am kind of leaving my phone on silent. Those notifications still come to my phone, but I'm not as apt to kind of like jump to my phone like I had been doing. So I think that also like, and it does come, I mean, having a model calendar is part of creating boundaries in your business. Again, to rope in, because we do want to do all the things. I'm with you. I want to be doing all the things, but I'm also in the state like, okay, last month was really great for me, but I need income coming in. What am I doing to bring more new income to me this month, particularly for my virtual assistant business? And I've been like, nothing. I haven't been able to do anything because I'm playing catch up and I'm working on actual client work. So those are the things that I need to keep an eye on and be forward with. And it's very similar to my travel business as well, because I have been wanting to get into podcast pitching for a very long time. And I've been putting other things before that. And I think that needs, again, to be one of my priorities. So, so that's kind of my model calendar, at least for now. So my Mondays are going to be CEO days. Tuesday and Wednesdays afternoons are going to be my call days. Thursdays are going to be my client days. And Friday is going to be a catch-up day for me. Mondays, I'm also going to be doing some content, kind of like content planning for myself, because as you may have seen in my stories, 1 hour was not enough, or an hour and a half was not enough. And I say that because it's not enough, because I manage 3 different social media accounts, and now I'll be managing a 4th one for my clients. So, which my clients can probably take another day. My own personal social media needs to take a day. Same thing with like these podcasts that I record need to be taking a certain day. And I might make like Mondays like social media content days, and Fridays maybe writing and podcast days. I'm not really sure. I don't want to be making that all the time either. Like I don't want to be that's something that I need to be working on, because I don't want to be recording podcasts every single Friday, for example. But if I can take an hour, make sure that my episodes are about 15 minutes or less, then that would help me out, knock them out in an hour. Then the next hour I can edit and go ahead and I schedule. So it's being more effective like that. Eventually, when I am a little bit more successful, I would love to give the podcast editing and scheduling to a podcast manager, but that's not something that's happening right now, but possibly on the horizon. And that's like, I think you do need to have those kinds of goals to be aware of what you're doing and where you want to head into, so that you can also be mindful of what you need to be doing to get there. So that's very much like financial goals. So I think this is a good place to stop right now talking about my model calendar. If you have any questions, or you want to get some feedback on your own model calendar, please go shoot me a message, and I would love to dive in and help you out. Alrighty, have a great week. Thanks for joining me on The Strategic Travel Entrepreneur. Please subscribe and leave the show a rating on your favorite podcast platform. Oh, and don't forget to take a look at the show notes for important information and links. See you next week.